What's one of the hardest things to overcome? But again, like we talked about last week, it gets easier to overcome it. It just takes our time and our attention, and it takes our focus, and it takes persisting. So, where am I coming from with this? It used to be the hardest thing for me. So, I'm Allison. This is the channel, and we talk about law of assumption here, a sprinkling of law of attraction, Abraham Hicks stuff, and we definitely are coming at it with a soothing bent. We are looking at it with nervous system regulation, importance, and I'm living in the end with you. I'm seeing you with all of your desires, much like I do for myself. So, one of the most difficult things is not letting your emotions dictate what you're going to do. Our emotions are, and not are, but can be such strong, let's say, counter indicators of what we want that we allow them to run the show when we're feeling really bad. And what is the most important thing I need you to recognize is that's what keeps all of your manifestations away longer. So, what do we do when we're feeling these strong emotions? Well, processing an emotion, it takes 90 seconds to process out an emotion, because underneath that emotion is that maybe it's unworthiness, maybe it's fear of it being abandoned. It could be a few of these, more core kind of more core absences of what we should just naturally have as being God becoming alive in this physical form. So when something gives us a reaction where we're like, oh, I really don't want that. When something gives us that strong visceral reaction of, I really don't like this, or I really hate this, if we stay there without processing our emotions, they will take us down. You will spiral, and you're gonna feel worse before you feel better. So there's a couple of things to do about this, but that core concept is that the emotions don't run the show anymore. And it can be tough to decide that they don't run the show anymore. I should know, because I have been studying law of assumption and working with a couple of coaches for over a year before I came into my own to really realize what spirals were really doing, and how my spirals, the spirals I was experiencing, were making me feel worse, were making me feel like, of course, like attracts like. When you think one negative thought that you don't move away from and not dwell on, others will join it. So then it became, even though this work really resonates, I'm terrible at it, right? It goes further than just I'm bad at it. The worst kind of iteration of each of those things, like the worst category of each of those thoughts would come, because once the thought of, oh, this resonates with me, but I'm terrible at it, shows up, everything else is just going to show up. My SP is not interested. How could they be? Because of this, because of that. All the things will start to show up because we didn't take care of it when it first showed up, and remind ourselves that emotions do not run the show anymore. Emotions are visceral, they are strong, they are good indicators of what is happening, and they are changeable by you. So even if something really unwanted happens in your experience, well, one, it's never done. It's never final. You are eternal. You're going to constantly be wanting new things because that's how it works. We are here to create. We are here to desire more. So, something really unwanted happens in your experience. If you let it take you down for days, for a week, it's just that much harder to climb out of it. So my suggestion is, again, to cultivate awareness, thought awareness, knowing what you're thinking, knowing what you're feeling, being in tune with that, not going on autopilot will help you make better choices in what you'd prefer to experience and how you'd prefer to feel. But it takes persistence, and we're here to persist, so that's a good thing. And it takes dedication to what you'd rather feel and how you'd prefer to enjoy your life. Because if you wallow in an experience and how it was unfair and how it sucked and no one would disagree with you, you're just perpetuating it more and more and more. Now, sometimes if you're going along and having a wonderful life, and then a little old story shows up to knock you off your game and you let it become bigger, sometimes that's what kind of has to happen to get you in tune, to remind yourself that emotions don't need to run the show and they don't have to run the show. Just because they're strong and present doesn't mean they get to dictate what you do next. So what I am suggesting is every time that happens, flip the thoughts, first of all. It's a thought flipping game. It really is, because it is a percentage thing, right? We want to make sure that our like blanket statement, positive thoughts outweigh our negative thoughts. We absolutely want to make sure we do that. But we want to make sure that no matter how we're feeling, we're affirming or we're visualizing or whatever. But I find when I'm not feeling great about a certain subject, affirming is the easiest, because I'm going to be thinking about it anyway. So I might as well think about it in a way that serves me. And if it really rankles you, then go general. Go general. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. And saturate your brain with that. And if you have to add the addition of, even if I don't see it right in this moment, everything is always working out for me, then do it. Even if I don't see it right in this moment, everything is always working out for me. But continue to saturate your mind with the affirmations, because they will lighten the load of the emotion. And of course, it's also good when we are experiencing negative emotion to remind ourselves we are safe. I am safe, I am relaxed, I am secure. And especially when you are feeling a very strong reaction to something you don't want, just fine. It's totally understandable. Get in there with your hand on heart and remind yourself that you are safe, you are secure, you are relaxed, and your emotions and your nervous system will chill out. They will calm down with some direction from you, because you run the show. Your emotions are just guidance. And when they feel awful, you're just really looking at what you do not want. And so, even though something just happened, you can make a decision to not think about it in that way. Because remember, every time you think about something that isn't working out, it's going to continue to not work out. So this is up to you. This is up to you to make that decision. That law of assumption resonates, because assuming you have what you want is a powerful stance. It's the clearest thing I've ever encountered that tells me I can have whatever I want. If I assume it and I can have what I want, it just makes more sense than anything in the law of attraction arsenal, in my own opinion. So if this resonates with you as well, I understand that there will be some spirals before you get this under control. And that's okay. It's okay. But use them as opportunities to practice not dwelling on negative thoughts. We dwell on what is lovely and of good report, it says in the Bible, because that, is closer to God, because he's dwelling on what is lovely and of good report. He didn't make all of this for us to just not get what we want, right? It is the kingdom of heaven is within. It is our Father's good pleasure to give it to us. Well, I mean, we need to show up with it for ourselves, right? We need to let the God within give us what we want inside. That's why for me it always comes back to the two gifts of mind and speech. You say what you want. You do not speak against it. You experience what you want in your imagination as much as possible. You do not speak against it. And yes, that can mean that we are not as understood by others. But do you want to be understood by others that are struggling and that refuse to do anything about their struggle because they think it's their lot in life or whatever? Or do you want to be living by the clarity of your own example, and maybe they'll come along with you. Maybe they will see, because everyone, of course, that doesn't know this work, they need the results before they think it would work for them, and that's okay. That's why we can be living proof of powerful examples of people who are enjoying their lives, who are finding ways to give beauty for these ashes, who are moving forward, who are constantly looking towards love and peace and fulfillment and bliss and ease, and knowing that feeling good is our birthright. Maybe those people will come along with you. But if you need them to understand you, and this is from Abraham Hicks that I really like, if you need them to understand you and you have to kind of get to their level of wherever they're at for them to understand you, then you're not following your own path. Then you're not doing what you needed to do to get what you want and to be who you want, because they're a little stuck, right? Let's just say they're a little stuck, which is okay. It's okay, because again, big emotion does mean big asking, right? So they're in their clarifying moment. They're in their I'm asking big right now moment. They just can't allow yet. Okay, that's where they are. If you end up commiserating with them and coming down with them, then you're losing your connection also. And the thing is, they can have a connection that is steady all the time, like you do, if you are consistently thinking about what you love and what you want, and you're consistently going towards your desires, okay? You're consistently going towards your desires. You are managing your emotions. You are thinking about your desires in the way in which you want it, not against them, not I want it, but not I think I can't have it because of this, because of these old stories. No. If you're really new story focused and you're able to flip those old story thoughts around, then you're doing what you came to do, and you are staying focused. It's a focus game. You're staying focused on what you want to do, and they're not quite there yet. But what they could do is recognize their disconnection is not between you and them, it's between God and them. Because when we're strong over here in our connection to our higher power, that's the connection we need, more so than this, person walking this earth. Yes, it's wonderful when we come together. Yes, it's wonderful to have fun and to be in each other's presence and enjoy each other's company. But again, if you have to commiserate with someone in order to do that, then you're missing out on your connection. You're missing out on becoming a powerful example of someone who engages in what they want and focuses on it until they get it in the outer reality. Okay, you can always get it in here. That's what affirmations are for. That's what visualization is for. That's what SATs is for. That's what journaling is for when it comes to moving towards what you do want. So I understand it can be difficult. Again, much like we said last week, it can get and does get easier and easier every time I catch myself in my spiral to work on spiraling up instead of down. So it's, my emotions don't run the show, I do, right? It's easy to do my manifestation practice. It's easy to do my law of assumption practice every day, no matter what I'm feeling, right? If we blanket statement some of those things and pepper the subconscious mind with those things, then the spirals can't stop you. And I can speak from personal experience. If they just don't stop me anymore, because it just started affirming right away. Because once I've cultivated, or because I have cultivated that thought awareness, I just don't let them get into my experience. I don't let the spiral become part of my experience like I used to, because I did find it really difficult to get out of them once it started happening, right? Because it is an accumulative thing. But now it's a lot easier, because if I've let that 10, 15, 20 thoughts go and it's been a few minutes, I can recognize that I'm not feeling good. I can recognize I'm not connected to Source, to God. I can recognize that I've sinned, right? To sin is to miss the mark. And all I have to do is turn back. All I have to do is turn back towards my desires, feel it as real, if I can. Affirm. Always can affirm. We're always thinking. Might as well think in the direction that serves me, not in the direction that doesn't. And that's it. That's it. So, I understand that it can feel like you should listen to your emotions constantly. And in a way you should. But you just don't hold their hands for hours and hours and hours on end. Because after you've processed it out the first time properly with some nervous system regulation and some recognizing of the underlying cause and knowing it's not true, every time you experience it, you're just reliving that same emotion. And it's just getting trapped inside you. And that's not what we want. We want to assume in a powerful way that everything we desire is ours, because to desire is to have it. So, your emotions don't run the show. No longer. We decide, thank you for watching to the end, that since we've watched to the end, and however long we watched, it was enough that we no longer let our emotions run the show. That's not their job. Their job is an indicator of which direction we're looking, and that's all the power they need. That's all the power they have to have. You run the show. What do you want? You focus on what you want. Thank you, and happy Magic Monday, and I'll see you on Wednesday.